New concept of success, give and take. Main content. The work opens up a new concept of success, completely different, that is for the sake of others. With interesting scientific and practical evidence, the work can change the way people do business today. Chapter 1, Satisfactory Recompense. The key to success is a combination, hard work, talent and luck. However, a fourth factor is equally important, but often overlooked: how we approach and interact with others. The basic difference of people lies in their attitudes and actions towards everyone around them. On this basis, people are divided into three groups: the receiving group, the giving group, and the reconciliation group. People of the Cho group are so thoughtful, trusting, and kind that they are willing to give up personal gain in exchange for the comfort of others. People in the receive group always want to receive more than they give. Self-interest is always placed above the wishes of others. They believe that the world is a place where people compete and trample each other to survive. People of the peace group, they act on the principle of mutual benefit, that is, the relationship is controlled by the exchange of benefits. Each of these groups of interests has its own advantages and limitations. You might think that those who are willing to give will suffer the most. You are right. Through research and statistics, it was discovered to a pleasant surprise, the most successful people are also the ones who are willing to give. Everyone has their own desires and goals, and indeed the successful givers are equally ambitious as those of the receivers or the peacemakers. The success of the giving group is pervasive and resonant, and while a person in the receiving group has a victory, it is built on the defeat and bitterness of others. For each specific situation, giving is not necessarily synonymous with success. The struggles to determine the winner and loser, the giving does not seem to get any return. Kindness and trust are not things that can be built overnight, but in the end givers have built a reputation and relationships that can lead to success. When we work in groups, we connect many people into a team. People in the Cho group will have more opportunities to express themselves. Today, the service sector is more and more developed. We tend to put more trust in service providers who are praised as always putting the interests of others first. When it comes to guiding principles in life, most of us are intuitively inclined to give. Just let go first, and success will definitely come to you. But if your only concern is success, then unfortunately, this book is probably not for you. Chapter 2, The Peacock and the Panda. In a remote rural area of Missouri, a man comes from a poor family. He works in the fields but still does not forget to grind history. Then he also earned a doctorate in economics. He joined the Navy, then held a number of important positions in the U.S. government. Then, he founded his own company. 15 years later, his company became a success leading America. He founded a charitable foundation, contributing $2.5 million to more than 210 charities. His noble act earned former President George W. Bush the praise. He was a kind and upright man. In the end, he was indicted, and he died of a heart attack before the trial took place. He was Kenneth Lay, the president of Enron. Kenneth Lay has a knack for seizing hobbies and always knows how to please those of great importance, like a peacock spreading its feathers to seduce a mate. These characters often feel dependent on his kindness, so he can rely on them later. Then, Lay and Enron fell from the peak of glory to collapse. Enron cheated, underreported profits, exposed losses. Enron went bankrupt. Lay was exposed for taking advantage of his position to eat and spend luxury, to cultivate property for his family. His foxtail is exposed. In contrast to Kenneth Lay, Adam Rifkin, a quiet young man in Silicon Valley, is nicknamed by programmers the Great Panda. Adam created Know-Now Software, worked on supercomputer development projects, and then took on the role of leader and custodian of online communities. Adam has established extensive relationships with famous and powerful figures, including the founders of Facebook, Netscape, Twitter, etc. He is completely impartial in his relationships and don't like bouncing, calculating. People come to Adam because they know he is a dedicated and kind person. Adam changed people and became a helper. He is a member of the Cho group, able to create lasting values from his relationships. To identify people of the receive group, who only know themselves. First of all, these people have a tendency to self-police and want to express themselves. In dialogue they often use singular pronouns, I, mine, myself, instead of us, we. They are often autocratic, strictly controlling the people under them, but they are stooped, sloppy, fawning, and inflated by their superiors. The most obvious is seeing how they treat the people they give to them is not beneficial to them. Today, thanks to the internet and virtual social networks, just a few small signs such as pictures or comments can reveal a person's true nature, including identifying a selfish person. When it is open to the world, it is very difficult for people who only know their own interests to succeed. Keith Ferrazzi summed up the principle of success as kindness. It was Adam Rifkin who discovered the truth. I find karma. The life motto of some businesses is also, who knows how to give will get more. Chapter 3, The Spillover Effect. After graduating from Harvard in 1978, George Meyer tried to find a job but was unsuccessful. For the next 30 years, Meyer was the soul of The Simpsons, a television phenomenon that changed America. Meyer deserves to be considered a genius among the behind-the-scenes geniuses. That is, he uses his intellect to help expand and enhance the capacities and skills of many others to do the job. One of his colleagues said, "He was amazingly generous and always kind, helping others." Meyer works closely with everyone, always trying to support colleagues as much as possible. He took on the responsibilities for the benefit of the group as a whole, not for his own sake, so their own group was much better off. Meyer's voice is still influential, and even though he is no longer at The Simpsons, his colleagues still think his way. Another genius mentioned here is Jonas Salk. In 1948, Salk started developing a vaccine against polio. A year later, scientists Enders, Robbins and Weller successfully cultured the virus in test tubes, paving the way for large-scale vaccine production. Thomas Francis, Salk's teacher, directed a clinical trial and then announced, "Salk's vaccine is safe, effective and effective." Salk became the hero of the world. During a historic press conference in 1955, Salk failed to acknowledge the importance of the research. Enders, Robbins and Weller, the 1954 Nobel laureates, paved the way for Salk's team. More treacherously, Salk did not credit the contributions of 6 of the lab's own researchers to Salk's vaccine development efforts. The researchers left the press conference in tears. Salk's moment of taking all the credit for himself has haunted him for the rest of his career, being shunned by his colleagues, failing to develop an AIDS vaccine, not winning a Nobel Prize, not being accepted. Selected as a member of the National Academy of Sciences. He died in 1955. His own son also asserted that, "This is not the achievement of one person, but the achievement of a whole group of dedicated and talented people." Geniuses tend to overestimate their own contributions and underestimate the contributions of others. They consider themselves superior and separate themselves from the majority. They always work according to their own liking. They exhaust the enthusiasm, ability and intelligence of others. They behave like a person of the receiving group. In contrast, the creators of genius tend to be those of the show group. They quickly realized that they needed the patronage of others and saw it as a source of strength to help them use everyone's abilities to accomplish great and beautiful works, and that achievement spread and share to everyone around. Chapter 4, Finding Gems in the Sand. In the past, psychologists believed that, in any field, success depended first on talent, and then on effort. So experts look for people who possess certain qualities, then train and coach them. Recently, psychologists have realized that such an approach is becoming obsolete. They believe that hobbies or interests are launchers for talent. New motivation is the first cause that motivates us to develop our talents. Of course, natural talent is a factor to consider, but once you have a lot of potential candidates, persistence and effort become an important factor in assessing whether the person can come close to realize their full potential. Harvard psychology professor Robert Rosenthal conducted an experiment. He picked out 20% of the students in an elementary school. He called this group of students with potential, but in fact, he chose only one random way. The students of this group are nothing more than their peers. The only difference lies in the teacher's thinking. It is the belief of teachers that helps them spend more time and effort, support and encourage students to be more confident and ultimately achieve better results. Unconsciously, it is educators who make predictions come true in the school environment. Eden also conducted similar experiments with adult populations and also achieved the expected results. This shows that the belief of the leaders is the catalyst to turn the forecast into reality. When leaders really care and believe, they take actions to support others and convey messages from that belief, in order to motivate them to reach their full potential. This is very rare for egoists, in the receive group, because they are not willing to help, support, boost self-confidence and give others opportunities to grow. As for the harmony team, they often wait until they realize the growth potential of others. As a result, they miss the opportunity to make these people real stars. People of the CHO group do not wait passively like that. They optimistically believe in the potential of others. They will direct themselves to the task of discovering the hidden qualities of every individual, and this gem has a chance to shine. However, altruism does not always get the desired results. When the expected value cannot be achieved, they will stop and consider and find a way to fix it, but still give these people another chance. With directional advice, they find a new and more suitable support. Chapter 5, The Power of the Moderate Social Style. There are two basic ways to help a person influence others: use authority or use prestige. A person who uses authority is someone who has a condescending manner, often raising his voice, showing certainty in his opinion, extremely confident, arrogant, using big words with a pompous attitude. These are selfish people who only think they are better at overpowering others. Reputable users, on the other hand, have a moderate communication style, respecting the views and wishes of others. These people often ask questions instead of answers, are reserved, humble, do not hide their weaknesses, seek advice instead of imposing thoughts on others. When I was 26 years old, after earning my doctorate in psychology, I was invited to teach a subject on psychology to a group of senior officers in the United States Air Force. The 23 students were around 40 to 50 years old. I decided to start the lecture with a preemptive. Although this is not my teaching style at school, I present my qualifications and achievements. As a result, the practitioners didn't give me the respect and admiration I expected at all, and I was very disappointed and embarrassed. Through the second lesson, I started the lecture in a more friendly, open and humble way. It was the peaceful communication that helped me turn the situation around. The students' feedback was excellent. The humble communication style of Cho people will easily make an impact in any situation. When introducing and expressing themselves, they do not hide their limitations, thereby bridging the gap between them and the audience. When selling, they ask questions that show a desire to help customers. In the process of persuasion and negotiation, they display a humble attitude and listen to the opinions of others because they really value judgments and comments made from many different angles. Humble communication is natural for altruists, and this is also one of the key factors in their success. Chapter 6, Blind or Wise. To be successful, in addition to being willing to help others, you also need to be alert to avoid falling into a trap. You will have to sacrifice benefits. Humble, open, you will feel like you are being overtaken and considered an idiot. For others to forget themselves is blind kindness, a pathological kind of altruism. You will easily feel exhausted and tired, and even accidentally push yourself into a state of energy exhaustion. Your work results will be affected. Prioritizing one's own interests and prioritizing the interests of others, seeming to be two opposing outcomes, are actually two completely independent motivators. One person can simultaneously own both. 2. A wise and kind person is concerned with the interests of others but still harbors ambitions to achieve his own desires. The best way to practice altruism is to strike a balance between giving and caring for yourself. Don't worry about the level of help, but focus on the feedback about the impact of those helping actions. The company should organize for employees to go on field trips to see the results that products and services have. Service provided by the company to its customers. At Wells Fargo, the company helped employees see how their loans really changed the lives of their customers. At Medtronic, the company organizes staff visits to hospitals to see firsthand how its medical devices help patients. Thereby, they will see the value they have brought to others, thereby maintaining and igniting their enthusiasm. Change the working context, expand the target audience, plan when and when to help others. Build a support network you can count on when you need it. Only in this way can we regenerate vitality, get rid of boredom, fatigue, and exhaustion, then volunteering and helping others will be maximized. At first glance, wise kind people don't seem to be as great as thoughtless kind people. But thanks to that, they can be immune to fatigue, and through that, they maintain the motivation to work to contribute more. Chapter 7, Spreading Giving in a System. In 1996, Craig Newmark founded a website called Craigslist. This site quickly became popular by capturing most people's instinct to harmonize interests. Craigslist is a bridge between buyers and sellers, where they make transactions to buy, sell and exchange used goods. Similar to Craigslist, in 2003, Beale created the FreeCycle website, but Beale took a special approach. No trading or buying and selling here was allowed, and instead, all merchandise had to be given away. Unconditional. Because Beale thinks, in this world, almost everyone understands that there are things that are not worth their own, but are the inheritance of others. By 2005, FreeCycle had more than 1 million members. Often, people join FreeCycle thinking they can get something for free, or throw something away without spending a dime in a landfill fee. That is, they give and receive from selfish motives. To dispose of an old mattress, I had to borrow a truck, take it to a landfill, and pay for the landfill. But when I went through FreeCycle, someone agreed to accept my mattress. They showed up at my door and said thank you sincerely. I was trembling with joy. I felt happy. But then I felt a little guilty, so I decided to start giving away other items as well, says Beale. There are many parents who need help in difficult times. They have received strollers, baby cribs, baby seats, when they no longer need it. Instead of sticking to Craigslist, they decided to donate give to others in need on FreeCycle. When FreeCycle was founded, one of the first members was an 89-year-old man who diligently collected parts to repair old bicycles and gave them to children in the area. That gesture of the old man was respected by everyone. When a member receives an item on FreeCycle, they accept the gift impartially, then the gift will be more meaningful and appreciated. The good deeds of others have the effect of cleansing the soul, removing feelings of doubt, instead inspiring a sense of morality and virtue. When we feel ourselves being encouraged to uplift, we feel as if for a moment we have become less selfish and more pro-religious. Of all these reciprocal acts of help, up to 99% stem from a direct request for help by the recipient. The growing FreeCycle community takes the interests of others as its operating principle, causing individuals who joined FreeCycle with the original purpose of making money to gradually be affected and adjust to more people-oriented actions. They feel more comfortable and open. Helping someone in our group or community means helping ourselves because then we are adding value to ourselves and to the group. Chapter 8, Escape from the Shadow. Derek is a contract negotiator for the club. To take on a promising player, he negotiates with their agent. When he first started, Derek offered a very low price. The agent was disappointed that similar players had higher salaries. He accused Derek of being too pushy. In the end, the agent gave up and accepted the terms that Derek offered. Returning home, that night Derek felt frustrated. The image of the agent disappointed, did not need to listen, and perhaps, he had a bad impression of himself. Derek decided to tear up the signed contract and will respond to the initial requests of the agent. Derek thought, your callousness will spread far and wide, and then your prestige and reputation will suffer. Smarter people can grasp the true desires of the other party. Here, Derek only thinks about himself and about the club. If there is a short-term gain by coercive expropriation from others, it will surely pay a double price in the future. Success cannot be exchanged at the expense of others, but must always find ways to increase benefits for themselves as well as for everyone around. For the selfish, success is a one-way win-lose. But in an altruistic world, everyone benefits more, leading to greater shared success. By changing the direction of others, we will achieve more, our lives will be more meaningful, and we will inspire more people.